I'm going to tell you guys the story of how I compound fractured my tib fib in my left leg while downhill skateboarding. We had been out in Malibu. It had been a session just like any other. We've been hitting roads that we were very familiar with. I was going pretty fast, maybe a little faster than I had normally gone on that specific section of road. I was pushing a little hard. It had rained maybe the few days before, but the road was dry. But in certain sections of the road there was sand, and I didn't factor this in when I came into a hairpin corner, and there was a woman in a Chrysler minivan who had decided to cut the lane on the hairpin corner, assuming that there wouldn't be anybody coming down. Well, me going headstrong, close to 55 miles per hour into the corner, maybe a little slower than that. It was probably about 50, I don't know. But even still, that speed going down and her coming up, it would have been pretty ugly if I would have hit her. So I made kind of a split-second decision to drift and go wide, and I kept sliding. I missed the minivan by maybe a few feet, slid right off the side of the road and into a guardrail. By the time I hit the guardrail, I was going maybe about high 30s, maybe 40 miles per hour. I smashed into the guardrail. I tried to put the board in front of me as much as possible, but me extending my legs out in front of me, unknown to me at the time, actually puts you at extreme risk of breaking your leg. So I hit the guardrail with my heel, and my tib fib broke and came through my shin, pushing the pant leg up with it. And I didn't know, I just bounced off the guardrail, and I was, my adrenaline was running, and my leg felt warm, so I knew I thought I had at least torn something, so I slid backwards in a sitting position into the middle of the road, and she had come to a stop. She got out of the car, and it was maybe a middle-aged Hispanic woman, and she was crying hysterically and kept asking me, why you do this to yourself? Why you do this? You crazy people, why you do this? So, me at the time, I was going through shock. Adrenaline was kicking in, and I took off my full-face helmet, and I threw it across the road, and I was about to lay into her about why she was, cutting the corner on the road. And just as I went to stand up, my leg at the shin spun around and pushed further out of my leg, and I fell over. And my leg was at an angle and backwards, and I knew something was terribly wrong at that point. And it was at that point that I started profusely cussing. There was an extreme amount of pain, to say the least. And I did exactly what they tell you not to do, which is I sat down, and everything inside me wanted to somehow just correct the way it looked. I needed to straighten it out or something. So I picked up the bottom half of my leg, and I straightened it out. And it was, I almost momentarily passed out. I kind of was still sitting up. At this point, my two buddies had shown up. And the lady, I looked up to notice the lady was gagging. And yeah, it was a pretty traumatic situation. Her husband had now joined her. He was in the, I guess, front passenger seat, and he was consoling her. My friends were kind of sitting there, and they were had their eyes closed. They were shielding their faces, so I knew that the situation was pretty bad. Shortly after that, I guess it was like a hometown hero in a Camaro showed up and came over and, declared to everybody he was a retired firefighter, and puts me in this almost like head brace kind of hold. And he's telling me how many fingers am I holding up, and I'm telling him I didn't hit my head. I didn't hit my head. He's, don't worry, buddy. It's gonna be okay. We're gonna make sure you're okay. Don't freak out. Don't panic. I'm like, I'm not panicking. It just hurts a lot. Don't worry, man. Just calm down. Just stay calm. And after what seemed like a lifetime, finally paramedics showed up, and they put me in a pneumatic splint. They offered me morphine, but I refused the morphine because morphine has in the past made me nauseous. So I thought that adding vomiting and nausea to the equation of me already having a broken leg would not be such a good mixture. So I decided to go without morphine, and then when I got to the hospital, finally it was at that point that the pain was pretty serious, and they decided to put me on Dilaudid, which is, I believe, 8 times more powerful than morphine. So one end of the spectrum to the other. Yeah. And that is how I compound fractured my tib fib. The doctors told me that I wouldn't be able to skate again. I was totally crushed. But, you know, as an athlete, you know, you gotta try and come back from situations like that no matter what. You know, someone tells you can't do something, and I doubled down. And what can I say? I had one of the best follow-up years after that. I've been to the Far East. I've been to Europe, skate tours. I'm skating great.
For free films and exclusive invites, join our email list at filmfestivalflix.com/email and follow us on social media with Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. In your home or on the go, we bring the festival to you.